Hello, hello, everyone. Welcome to the next installment of our Student Story Week. Again, today we're meeting with different colleges and universities around the world. Our topic of this stream is about making friends and getting involved. I know as an international student, it can seem intimidating to go to a new country. You worry about if you'll have friends or if you'll feel lonely. So we're really excited to get Lanre's perspective. Hello, Lanre. Thank you so much for being with us today.
Definitely. Thank you for having me.
And Lanre, you're from Nigeria, correct?
Yes, I'm Nigerian.
Cool. So how long have you been studying at University of the Incarnate Word?
I have been at University of the Incarnate Word for the past year, actually. I recently graduated from my undergrad in Georgia, and I was very indecisive as far as where I was going to go for my master's program, and I did a ton of research and ended up at UIW. They had probably one of the best offices. They were very helpful. They made my application process really easy for me. It literally happened within the span of four
Oh,
days.
wow.
So I'm very thankful to the university. Upon reaching the campus, I met with them, and they just a lot more active than my previous university was in regards to keeping up with our legal documents and just staying on top of our classes and everything. So yeah, it's just been an amazing experience this past year at UIW.
Oh, that's awesome. I'm so glad you've had a good experience. And that's so important too, to choose a school that's on top of everything they need to be on top of and that really tries to make it as simple for you as possible. Because sometimes, especially for master's degrees, the application process and getting a decision, it can move really, really slowly sometimes. So that's awesome that you were able to get everything sorted out so
Literally.
quickly. Yeah, that's awesome. So again, our topic today is all about making friends and getting involved. So what was your experience as a graduate student arriving to UIW? What was your experience with making friends or just getting involved on campus?
Well, I would say that my experience was fairly easy. Given the fact that this was happening amidst the whole pandemic, I thought it was going to be impossible for me to actually meet people. But they were very active with our Zoom streams. We had a lot of you would say orientation that was done through Zoom prior to me actually getting to campus. So I met up with a few student athletes as well, a few prospective students that were going to be there last fall. This happened about a month before I even got to Texas. They were very active about staying involved with, my faculty. I got to meet my professors beforehand, knew what classes I was going to take beforehand. And by the time I got to campus, it was just a very welcoming experience. I got involved with the Wellness Center, which is in charge of just daily nutritional values and facts that could help students. So they're very active as far as given that a lot of students could not make it to campus that fall semester. They really had to improvise and think of innovative ways to bring the workouts and fitness to the home. So I helped with that initiative at the university. And overall, it was the best way for me to make friends because all the people that I worked with, I just ended up I just drifted towards them naturally, and we've just been great friends ever since. So it was a really smooth process, I would say, thanks to the university.
That's good. That's amazing because again, this is something people are really nervous
Definitely.
about. Did you face any difficulties at all? Like any, was there any part of it? I imagine since it was the pandemic, that probably made it a little bit challenging. But were there any other challenges you had when you were trying to like make friends?
Outside of the the fact that we still are in the pandemic. The fall semester was very much not that many students outside of the student athletes were on campus, so it was harder to meet other people, and there were some international students as well that were on campus, so that was an easier approach. But since the spring semester, it's been because the office has been back open. There's been a lot more events just around campus, so it got easier for sure. But during the fall semester, it was because I would say one thing about UIW, they have a huge international community, so it was easier. I met the provost literally on the second day. She just approached me walking around campus and invited me to her office and had a whole conversation. So that made me feel welcome. And I just felt like, wow, like this is such a, a caring place to be in, because they know that you're away from home, given the same time that there's a whole pandemic going on. So they really took the extra effort to ensure that all the international students were being suited for, were being taken care of, and felt like there were services to help students. So yeah, it's been an amazing experience. Certainly, COVID has factored that too, but I'm overall grateful for it.
That's awesome. You have such a positive outlook, which I love. And it's just great to know, when you go to a school that, the people that are higher up in the university, they're still like wandering around and trying to mingle with students to make you feel welcome. Like, that's awesome. That's really awesome. So, in your
Literally, yeah.
opinion, as an international student, and as a student who's studied just at two different universities, what do you think is the best way for incoming students to make friends? For those ones who are
Um,
nervous about that, what's the best way to get started with making friends?
Yeah, I would say one of the best ways and the best outlets to meet people as far as incoming students or even transfers is just to get involved. Each university, that's one thing that we're so fortunate to have, are clubs and organizations. At UIW, we have with I got involved personally with the club side at the university. So we've been helping incoming students just get involved with teammates and just meeting new people through sports. So that has been my personal outlet, which I found success in. But outside of that, there's so many clubs that could range from whatever your preferences are. It could be fully academic as far as math, English clubs, or just something out there like a sports or esports. We have all sorts of things that range from that. So that has been the
That's
biggest.
cool.
Yeah, that has certainly been the biggest way that I've seen students meet each other, and just coaching the club basketball team at the university. I've had all of my freshmen are now really close friends, and I can certainly guarantee that they're friends because they chose to get involved, and they are going to room together next semester. And
Aw,
it's just a wholesome experience. Yes, so that
for
would be my
sure.
advice for sure.
So you kind of cut out for a second, but did you say that you're the coach of the club basketball team?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. As my
Wow.
graduate assistant, yes, position. It gets me
Wow.
out there, yeah, it keeps me on top of my feet and very active. So I'm fortunate to the university for that opportunity. Mhm.
Yeah, and it's cool, just like as you said, by doing that, not only are you getting involved, but you're also helping other students, meet each other and create
Yes.
those bonds. And I'm sure that is really rewarding to hear them talking about rooming together next year.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
like,
I was
I did
I was really
that. You should be
impressed.
proud of yourself. That's awesome. Outside outside of coaching basketball, are you involved in, I know you mentioned the wellness center. Are you involved in any other clubs or organizations?
Organizations, I have a lot of other clubs have sparked my interest. I have been to a few seminars. One that primarily stands out is iHouse, which is for the international students, where it's an experience that you live on campus with other domestic students, and then you sort of have like a more interactive approach. So it's to foster a healthy environment to communicate with not just international students, but also American students that want to know more about different cultures, potentially study abroad. So that has been a club that has really sparked my interest. I'm currently looking at moving into the iHouse just to have the wholesome
Oh,
experience. But yes, but I have been involved with that, and it's just been amazing. I met all my international friends through that route at the university so far.
that's so cool. And you said so with that organization, it's both domestic students and international students that live together?
Yes, all live together, yeah, for the entire semester, and it's
Wow.
really
I'm sure that's an amazing experience for everyone involved. Like not only
certainly.
for international students to, feel like they have someone American to create a bond with, but also for domestic students who may not have the opportunity to travel, just getting that perspective and being around people that have a different way of thinking and a different perspective on the world, like that's a very enriching
Certainly.
experience also.
Yeah.
A lot of domestic students, they've never, gone out of the country or gone out of their own state. So that can be huge, can change a lot of people's perspectives. So that's really cool. I think this is kind of an obvious question, but like, how has getting involved on campus changed your social experience, especially over the years, since you have been in the States for a while studying at different schools? Like, how have you seen your social life evolve?
Certainly. I'm a big believer in, and just like with my time in school, I've come to learn that you're only as good as how, you network yourself. So coming to this university, I have been in so many opportunities to meet new people. I literally met the SJ president and the campus engagement president just from hosting a campus and like event around the campus, and they just walked up to me like, "Hey, we like what you're doing and your wellness center department. Here's my phone number and email if you have any questions or want to collab together for this event for our incoming students. Just get to know." So that whole, outlook has really just made me more comfortable. Just walking around campus, I feel as though I can easily relate with anyone from any department just by being involved. So yeah, so that has definitely gone like a long way and just making me feel very comfortable. Like around campus, and it's not just me. I can attest to the same for my friends who are still like in their undergrad that have done the same thing, and have received the same experience from it too. So it's just a very fostering environment for that kind of
and those relationships, not only with friends, but as you're saying, you're talking with people in other departments at the university, you're collaborating, like those friendships are also going to be your contacts moving forward.
Definitely.
When you start your next steps, it's always good to have people to be references for different things, and it also helps you build your CV a little bit. So multiple benefits to getting involved and having a social life, and really molding that social life to fit your goals, which that sounds like what you've been doing, which is awesome. Yeah, so I just have one final question for you before we wrap up. And this is just general. So what advice would you give to other international students who are just thinking about studying abroad? They might be scared or nervous. What would your advice be for them?
I would say that just the whole idea. I remember when I was first coming here, I was so nervous. I was worried about being homesick, the communication barrier, the language barrier, just as well. And as soon as I got to campus, I just don't really feel as though I was aware of how much work goes in, behind the doors by each university's international organization, just to make sure that students are, as comfortable as they possibly can when they come to the United States. There's a lot of work that goes to that, just behind closed doors. They operate based off of pure feedback. So each year it only gets better. I was just in awe of how easy it was for me to feel at home here at UIW. It did not take me long at all to really rep and be a proud Cardinal. So I am, I would continuously tell my family and friends back at home too that this was one of the easiest things for me to do. There are lots of services that help with students, either it being from the food bank, and they would educate you on healthy things, because I know that switching diets for me was one of the crucial things that I was very curious about, as far as again, I'm leaving my home country. So how am I going to get, certain foods that I'm used to, or try new foods? But San
That's such a good
Antonio itself
point.
is a very diverse city. Yeah, yeah. San Antonio it's a very diverse city. The university and the international office, they hosted about 3 events in the fall semester alone during a pandemic. About 3 events that had free food, so I got to try new foods, learn more about different cultures. Yeah, so it's just a very wholesome experience. I feel like so. And the biggest thing is, once you get to campus, don't be shy. It's gonna take you a while for sure, yes, but I would encourage each student to step out of their comfort zone and find something. There's always gonna be something for you on campus.
For
always
sure.
gonna be something. And if you put your foot in something that doesn't quite feel normal to you, you can always go back and try something new. There are lots of clubs and organizations, and that's the whole point of them. So students are as comfortable as they can be throughout their whole college experience. So that'd be my one, I guess, two pieces of advice that I would
It's
give
great
out.
advice. And you know, something to point out to our viewers, everybody when they go to a university, everyone's trying to figure out, you know, who they want to become, what they like. It's a time to try new things, and if there's something you've never been involved in before, even a sport, you know, there are club
Mm,
sports or intramural sports, and you know, just lots of different things you can try out and see where you find your group and your core. And it's awesome to know that UIW has so many options for students. They really can just figure out where they fit. So I think that's awesome. Well, thank you so much,
100%.
Lanre, for sharing your experience with us. And I gotta
Definitely.
say, your English is so good. You know, you said you struggled with the language barrier at first. I can't even imagine. You hardly even have an accent. It's amazing. It's really, really good. It's really good. So congratulations on
I appreciate it.
that.
Thank
All right.
you.
All right, guys. Well, thank you so much for your time, and thank you to our viewers. Thank you, Isaac, for introducing me to Lanre. He's an inspiration and super
Yeah.
cool guy. And you know, for all of our students watching, if you go to UIW, Isaac is the guy who's going to be helping you, and I'm sure you'll see Lanre around campus, and I bet he'll say hi. You don't seem like a shy guy, so I'm sure you'll be friendly. Awesome. All right. Thank you both so much.
Thank you, guys.
Bye.